What's up, everybody? I hope you
So,
guys are having a good day today. Of course, we are about to get started on the show. Sharing over here right now to some of my friends, right quick, like on my other page, so they can kind of see what's happening. Man, I hope you guys are having a great day. I really do. I really do. Today, we want to talk a little bit today about the dynamics of love, and what is the real question behind this is really how has love changed for you over time? How has love changed? How has it transformed? Um, Love is a lot of things to a lot of people. So we want to talk a little bit tonight about how has it transformed in your life since you started the journey. So right quick before we get started, uh, I know that there are a lot of people out there right now. As you jump in, I want you to just go ahead and feel free to share, and let somebody know that we're on right now. And we're about to have a good time. I'm just going to give a round of applause to all of you that are in the house already. And I want you guys to know that we appreciate you guys for jumping on every week with us and sharing the content. Our community is growing, and that is a great thing, of course. And you can always feel free to go back to the YouTube page. He's able on YouTube and check out some of the past episodes that we've done so far. It's going to be a good night tonight, guys. So I hope you guys are ready. Right about now, I want to bring him back on the screen, Mr. Cameron Keynes. Give a shout out to everybody, if you will, my
how
brother.
y'all doing this evening? First of all, I'd like to congratulate the host, Thomas Ware.
Me?
Definitely give him a congrats on top 10 gospel Kirk Franklin praise.
Oh, that's what's up.
Uh,
That's
yeah, the songs is doing real good out there, blessing people. Last weekend we had this event down south, man, and 15 souls got saved,
that's
and
what's up.
he's doing great work. I know his passion, man. He's a type of person. He loves to hit the streets and do street ministry. So let's just keep praying for him in the ministry, man, and just keep growing.
And that you say that, man. You know, it's all ministry. Everything that we do, even this podcast, is ministry. We do it on a lighter note. Of course, we like to laugh, we like to joke, we like to do our thing on here. But I want you guys to know that we are real people here. You know what I'm saying? We're real people. So most people don't really get to see, the real side of people. You know what I'm saying? It's like, our life doesn't change. It's the same way, but we like to laugh and have fun. So wow, now that we're on this topic tonight, this topic is going to be interesting. I really want to see, Cameron, this is what I really want to see. I
Uh-huh.
want to see
Uh-huh.
how people respond to this question tonight. Now, listen, we asked the question: how has love changed for you through life? Has love changed? What is that definition? How do you define love? Now, listen, I know people are going to have a lot of different opinions about what love is. However, like today, for instance, I was inside of the mall today, and I saw some young people hugging and kissing. They really, really young, hugged up, booed up, however you want to call it. And I remember the days when I was young in high school, and the things I did, the way that I felt, my emotions that I contributed to what you would call love. It's not the same now as it was then.
Mm.
A lot of the things that I thought meant love now really isn't as relevant now that I've gotten older. So that's the question I want to talk about. That's the topic. That's the question we're asking tonight. And all of our viewers tonight, please feel free, put some comments in the comment section. If you want to come on the screen, please let me know. I'll make sure that we get a link sent over to your either to your Facebook Messenger or to your email, and we will get you put on the screen. So let's talk for a minute. Cameron, how about you, brother? How has love changed for you through time? What did you think love was when you were young?
Growing up, I remember when I was 15, I already had in my mind that, when I grow up, I would like to have a family, and I also would back then. I mean, since I was a kid, man, I always want to be an actor, and I always had that in my mind. And then I always want a beautiful wife. These are things I used to think of. And I just wanted to make it in life. And I remember this one girl that I had liked in my neighborhood. And I don't know, she just kept pushing me off, and I'll bring her flowers and stuff like that. And I used to see my dad do that to my mom, take her out. Um, he may create something because my dad was an artist, so he'll create something for my mom, and he's taken to this place called it was the Hilton Hotel in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and take out, and they always come back talking about lobster. So these things in my mind was like it was him giving and receiving and just doing beautiful things, and that's the way I received love as a kid. Now, as I went through life, the thorns hurt from the roses, you
Okay.
know, and it didn't turn out to be what I thought was love from some people, you know. So as we go on, I'll be able to explain some more.
So I see. Okay, so hey, Chef, what's up, man? Good to see you on tonight. Listen, guys, please feel free to drop us a comment in the comment section. Listen, so for me, I like to think about this because you said a statement that was really important. A lot of times, men think that love is through the process of giving. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
that's their way of showing love. You know what I mean? And so sometimes we learn that people have different ways that they receive love and that they view love. Like for instance, um, for me, I never thought of love from a standpoint when I was younger, from a standpoint of connection as far as conversation,
Right.
connection as far as uh touching. When I say touching, I don't mean, sexually. I mean just touching, embracing. I didn't see those things as love
Right.
for me when I was young. As I've gotten older, I see love differently. I mean, I still like to give, but one of the things that I've noticed now is that connection is so important. Like touching each other, embracing each other, actually feeling
Hmm.
presence, not so much as on a sexual level, but more on just a passionate level of compassion and really knowing that that person is there. That for
Hmm.
me uh, is tremendous because it's a big change. So when I think of it from that angle, I mean, you know, the transition of what I saw, like today, I started out saying that I saw the young people in the mall and like they don't really know what love is.
Hmm.
They really don't. And it's like, that's why so many people really never connect and figure out what it is. So they can easily walk away from relationships because they've never really loved.
Right.
And so, and we talked on the topic of relationships last week when we were saying that people grow apart. But I think the real truth of that is, even now from this topic, the real truth of it really is falling on the I guess in the area of saying that a person, if they've never really known what love was, it's easy for you to walk away.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's easy for you to leave relationships, even if that friendships. It doesn't have to
Hmm.
necessarily be a marriage, but even in friendships, it's easy to walk away when you don't really know what true love is.
You said something important, very important, connection. And and like I said, as a kid growing up, I saw all these things happening, and as far as the giving, and we yearn with myself. I was yearning as I got out. I was yearning for that connection by receiving back what I give out to that person. And when you don't feel that connection, as far as them giving back in your mind, like, well, do they love me or or
Right,
what's going on? Why I'm not feeling the same thing,
right,
you know. So that start to create a problem. People start questioning, and it goes for both sides. Women, if they don't see you doing certain things, they start to wonder like, Why aren't you spending more time with me? Why aren't we doing this? You know, and fellas sometimes they get caught up in a little emotions too, and they feel the same way also.
And I think also, let's talk for a moment on a real level. I think also when people when you're young, most people think that sex is love.
Right.
Um, and so, it's kind of like the pond. It's like most women are conned into having sex when you're young because it's portrayed as if though you don't love me if you don't engage in this.
Right.
So when we think about that, you have to really think about it. Like as you get older, sex is not as important
Mhm.
as you made it out to be when you were young. Don't get me
Right.
wrong. I'm not saying that that's not an important factor in relationship as far as in marriage or in that area. But I will say that if that, the question was always asked, well, what happens if someone gets sick? What happens if they can't necessarily have sex? What happens if they can't engage in those type of things because they're sick or something's happened to them? So does that mean love is out the window? Does that mean that there's that it's not you don't come on, like you see what I'm saying? Does that mean
Mm-hmm.
the person doesn't love you anymore? Well, where does love fit in that picture? And I think it's so important to know that really love really has more to do with your connection. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this is a real connection. And
Right.
if you're not connected to a person, you can never love a person that you're not connected to.
That's
Let's be
true.
real. Let's be real. Even in friendships, you can
Right.
never love a person if you're not
Mm-hmm.
connected to them.
That's true.
Because really, love has a presence of I know when you hurt. I know
Yeah.
when you're
Right.
in need. I know when you're in pain. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
If something's different, I mean, think about it just for a moment. Let's be real. Like for us, for instance, Cameron, like
Mm-hmm.
we get on the phone or we get around each other and
Right.
we tell when our spirit isn't right. Something's
Oh
not
yeah.
right now. Something's wrong in the atmosphere.
Oh yeah. Oh
And when
yeah.
that happens, then what? You know what I'm saying? Like that's how
Right.
you know you're connected.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and that's how without that type of a connection, love isn't present. I see
Right.
Gabrielle. Hey, uh, she said soulful. Yes, absolutely. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and not to get this mixed up with what you just said, Gabrielle. Um, I know you mean soulful as far as the connection, but I want to also go to this level of what people call soulmates.
Right.
Soulmates. I don't necessarily
Yeah. I
like
don't.
in the term that they use for that
Right.
for, but
Right.
let's say it on this level. I would like to say it from this angle that we
Mm-hmm.
really our soul we should be connected spiritually.
Right.
You see what
Right.
I'm saying? Spiritually, we should be connected because it's a deeper connection than something
Mm-hmm.
tangible. You can give a person sex. That's just that could be interchangeable. That can actually be you can have sex with anyone. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that doesn't mean love. Like you know what I mean? So and then you can actually buy a person gifts. That doesn't mean you love them. You can do all of that and not have a care for them in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But when you really are connected to a person, you're worried about their well-being. You're worried
Right.
about
Right.
you don't even have to be in the same location. You can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they just come across your mind and you pray for them or you call them and just check
Right.
in on them because you just feel like something is not right. Something
Right. Right.
your hold on a second. Antonio said in his opinion, love truly became completely fulfilling when I met the responsibility of doing everything. It left the word out there, looks like I can something for my children, my wife, and coming into the full understanding of what Jesus did for me. I feel you. I feel you. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Antonio, absolutely. And the fulfillment of love was to give everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that took a connection. Watch this. If we look at that from a standpoint of God and us, if we look at it from a spiritual standpoint and that way, look at what he did. God places uh uh his son in the flesh. Why? It's hard to be connected to someone.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be connected. You can't be connected from a distance. You have to be connected to someone. And so Jesus' walk with us was
Right.
a connection. It was showing the connection between us and God. Really, it showed the connection. So him dwelling among us and being among us, now the fulfillment of his actions showed his love. And
Right.
that's truly what this is all about. It's like, long distance relationships, it's really hard to be in love with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You're in long distance relationships. It doesn't the fulfillment doesn't really occur until you're actually with a person and you dwell among a person and you're around them and you're able to really connect in a different way. I'm seeing another comment popped in. Sammy says real love overlook each other's fault. True. Notice brother and
Mm-hmm.
sister don't get along. They don't get along better because they're family. But husband and wife should be closer than that, and their love should grow stronger because this is a greater love. It is, and listen, it's so many relationships in with husband and wife, and they never meet, they never reach the pinnacle of what love is. They've never really
Mm-hmm.
reached that area. I've met people who have been married for a long time, and you can tell that they're not connected.
Mm-hmm.
They're not connected, and that connection means something. It means something, and I believe one of the things that my wife used to say when we first got married, and I could never wrap my head around it, and that thing was like she was always say, um, she would say, I don't feel she said, I know you love me, but I don't feel safe. And I said, safe, what does that mean? I'm like, you think that I'm gonna allow someone to come in and harm you or take advantage of, what do you mean? And really what she meant by it, after time passed by, it was hard for me to get, but she finally said that it was about her being able to voice her feelings and know that I understand, know that I actually hear what she's saying. That is so important because that showed her that we're connected. If we you,
Mm-hmm.
you understand what I'm saying? It
Yeah. Yeah.
shows that we're connected. And
Mm-hmm.
for me to hear her feelings and she knows that I hear what is what her concerns are, that
Mm-hmm.
proves by me paying attention that
Right.
my love is genuine, that it's actually present. So we have to really pay attention to that. Like even with friendships, it's the same way. Yes, I see Gabrielle say yes. That is so real. That the feeling is so real. Yeah, like we relate with friendships. It's the same way. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you ever talk to somebody and you know that when you discuss what's on your heart, what your desires are in life, the things that you really want, you can tell if you really got a friend or not because that person's going to either show and respond,
Mm-hmm.
encourage you in those
Right.
areas, or it'll fall on deaf ears, and they're really
Mm-hmm.
more concerned about self versus uh, their friend. So
Right.
so you really have to know, you have to be able to tell the signs of a person, if a person really does love you or not. Is it genuine? Is it really genuine? Come on.
You know. You,
Go ahead, brother.
I want to go back to that soulmate. I don't believe in soulmate, man.
Right,
I don't think there's such. But
right.
if there is soulmate, you got to be 50 years together and then die.
Well,
Because by that time you already connect. That connection is so there. You
right.
could walk in a room and look at that person, and they know what you're thinking by that time. You know what I mean? So,
So let's be real, man. Love takes work.
oh yeah.
Love takes work
Hmm.
because love is the element that puts you in a position that says, I can't give up.
Right. Right. You know, talking about give up. I had a friend told me years ago. She said, you know, when two people are together, and they're having all these problems, but they're supposed to love each other, and they want to run off, be with the other, with another person, whatever, you know, especially if they've been together a long time. She was saying that, you know, who's gonna be there in the end
Right,
to basically, you know, wipe your,
right,
you know, take care of you
right,
if you're in that position, you know,
right,
where you need help
right.
physically, you
Well,
know.
I hope my prayer is that that a person has spent uh their life with someone who actually was there for the right reason, that they loved them.
Right. That's
Because
true.
even look, man, I've seen some crazy stuff. I've even seen situations where couples, as they gotten into their old age, they leave. They
Yeah.
split, and it's like after they spent 30 years or more
Mm-mm.
together, they leave, and it's like
Yeah.
so love does what we I believe that what happens is a lot of times what we call love in the beginning when we're younger or whatnot, and even now, some people in older age group still hasn't really like they still haven't grasped what love really is. So as they engage in relationships, starting new relationships, a lot of times it is that I would say that more on the outside uh
Right.
thing that people look for. So we get this whole thing mixed up where you start to think that because I'm infatuated with somebody,
Right.
man,
Right.
I like the way they smile. I like the way they
Yeah.
shake.
Right.
I like their
Right.
personality. Oh my God,
Right.
I'm in love with this person. Well, truthfully, you think hard enough about somebody, you can
Yeah.
fool yourself to think that you're in
Oh
love with.
yeah. End up living with them.
Let's be real. If you if you think hard enough about somebody, the things
Yeah.
that infatuate you the most about them, you
Uh-huh.
can you can fool yourself into
Sure.
believing
Yeah,
that
because that's
you're
what you
in
want.
love.
Right. That's your wants.
Right.
Yeah.
And then later after you've done that and the smoke clears, the honeymooning is over,
Uh-huh.
you get what
Yeah.
you want out of the situation. Now what
Uh-huh.
happens? You can't stand them
What
anymore. You
next?
know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And I'm not talking about marriage. I'm talking about
Right.
just
Just
relationships.
in general. Yeah.
Used to think about
Yeah.
relationships. So which brings me to this. So let's be real. I'm gonna bring this to all of the viewers that's watching right now because I want to bring this to your attention. It's something that I really paid attention to at some point. It's really crazy because when you think about this, I want you to really just think about what I'm about to say. A lot of people uh fight over people that they don't want.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
people think that they're in love with them, but
Right.
truthfully, most times it's really a competition.
Right.
The fact
Yeah.
that you're competitive and you don't want somebody else to look like they walked away with the person you
Right.
you see what I'm saying? So you
Right.
end up fighting for somebody, and people stay in relationships.
Yeah.
You hear what I'm saying? People stay in relationships not because they love the person. They stay in relationships because they can't stand to see somebody else with
Right.
the person because they
Hmm.
feel like they would have lost this competition. It
Right.
egos make
Yeah.
people stick around
Hmm.
more than love. Let's be
Yeah. I've seen that, man.
Yeah, man. Come on, let's be
Oh
real.
yeah.
Let's be real about it.
Real
Yes,
love.
real love,
Endurance.
endurance, take care of you, help you, protect you. Yeah, listen, people, I'm telling you, like people will fight every day.
Oh yeah.
They will fight every day in a relationship. And they're not fighting. They're fighting because they don't love each other. They're fighting because they really can't stand each other.
Hmm.
But they're not leaving because they don't want to see anybody else with the person.
Right. Right. That's deep, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, it's really
Yeah.
a bad thing when a person gets possessive. Like it's a
Right.
possessive thing. So, for instance, you see people that are in relationships, they may even have children. They kill themselves and the children and the
Yeah.
woman. All
Oh
right.
yeah.
Love don't make you kill people.
Sure
What makes
don't.
you kill people is the obsession and
Right.
and the competitiveness about you, the competitor in you that says nobody else can have
Right.
you. And
It's called selfishness.
selfish spirit. It really is a
Yep.
selfish spirit. And so love, like that's like these are some of the things that people really contribute to love. They
Hmm.
really believe that it's love. It's like I think somebody said on our last podcast about how people stay together and they get beat up. Like, what? Why would you
Right.
leave? Like,
Yeah.
what's the last reason to be done with it? And it's
Hmm.
like people have a lot of. Let's put it. Let me say. I want to make sure that I say this right because I don't want to. I want to make sure that I put this the right way. And it's this. Many people don't want to look at the mental health part of this,
Hmm.
but it's a sickness mentally
Hmm.
when you can be oppressed but still be in your mind think that it's love.
Right.
That's an illness. That's really is a mental illness moment. Like when you think about it, when you can be in a situation where everything about that situation spells out hate,
Hmm.
but you equate it to love. That's not good. That's not
Yeah.
good. So when we look at these relationships and we think about love, how can love be translated to negative things? But you can't do it. It love doesn't take the shape or the form of negative things. So
Mm-mm.
when we look at love. How does love? How do you go from what has love transformed into in your life? How can you start out kisses, hugs, gifts, dinners, love, all of a sudden, many years later, now no gifts, no
Hmm.
kisses, no hugs, just sex when you have sex, and then outside of that, abuse,
You
mental
know what?
abuse, verbal abuse,
Yeah.
physical abuse, and you wonder how does this love that we start out with was it really love?
You know what? Because sometimes mentally, some people come in with the wrong mentality, but then they do what I call pacify the situation and feel like they're going to win, change this person. So as they go on, right, they get to a point where they feel like they done condition this person to a certain point to the whereas now they can release their real self and start
But
trying things.
But is that was that like let's think about that for a minute. Was that really love coming in?
No,
Or
no,
was that or was that settling? You know, sometimes like you settle for something and then you try to create what you want out of it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's
that's
like
not love, man.
it's not love.
No, it's
It's
not
not love.
love.
Love
No.
love does not respond that way. And it's like I think a lot of times we jump into relationships. People jump into relationships and they make a commitment out of something that they hope happens later. Like they don't see love. And so like it's even like when you haven't been raised in a family that has seen how love operates,
Hmm.
that person grows up a lot of times acting just like they saw the
Right.
same attributes of the parents. So that's what they thought love was. So
Right.
now they come and they impute that in someone's life,
Hmm.
and now they bring that into someone's life who was raised a totally different way.
Right.
And so now what they thought was love could have been toxic, but
Right.
they brought that into a relationship, and now they force that on the relationship rather than
Hmm.
really learning what love really is.
Right.
Like I truly believe that we have to like really get in a place where, especially in marriages and relationships, man, when you can, you have to really search out what love really is. You have to, because if
Hmm.
you don't know, you can damage a lot of great things, things that could
Right.
be great. you can damage it because you just don't really know. And it could be innocent. Let's be real. People really do grow up thinking that they learned everything the right way.
Yeah, you have to respect each other, man. Is
Yeah,
number one. That's one of the biggest thing. Like you was talking about how they first come in, and I look at it this way: like they were in a safe zone coming in, thinking that it's gonna be the way it was with their parents, the way they was taught, the way of the things that they have seen, and they come in with this mentality thinking, this is my safe zone. This is the way we're gonna. It's supposed to be, and then this other person raised totally different, you know. And
right,
then because sometimes when people get together, they both like each other,
right.
so they will play it off with each other and walk on eggshells, not to offend the other person. And then when they finally get together, boom, because they weren't being real in the beginning.
Right, right. Well, that's true. That's true. A lot of people mask, who they really are, and so what happens? So let's play this on the pond. Like let's play it that way. So if a person is masking who they really are,
Mm-hmm.
how do you, what is your expectations of love? And if you have expectations of what love is, then I believe those should be demands. I think you should really be looking for that in the
A
person that
soft
you're
touch.
dealing with. Yeah, you should really be
You
looking
touch
for that.
my face and say a little something. People get mad or whatever, but it's
Right,
there's always something, some little thing that a person would do that I don't care if it's from uh uh, from the financial side to like you said, they have a way of protect. It's all protection.
right.
That's how you know when somebody really love you, when they protect you. They may come off in a certain way where you may think, oh, they're just getting on your nerve, but I look at it as protection, man. This person is always trying to protect you. That's love.
Well, I tell you what, I want to hear from some of the people that are watching right now. Put it in the comments. What do you call what is that point that you call love? What's the attribute that you look for? What are the things, the actions, whether it's the actions, whether it's I don't know, if it's something that people do, what they say, what is it that you look for that you call love? What do you call love? And even more so, how has love how has it transformed in your life as you've gotten older? Sometimes people, I know women who would say that it was not love if they didn't get gifts.
Hmm.
Like really, if you didn't get gifts, if you weren't taken out to eat, if you
Yeah,
didn't
that's
go out,
not love.
it's not love. And
That's
the
not
truth,
love, man.
that's
No,
what
not
people.
even close.
And so even in this generation today, love is that you spend money. And
Hmm.
if you don't have money, guess what? You don't get
Love
love.
don't pay the bills. That's what they tell you.
Yeah,
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 and I don't believe that.
yeah. That's what they say. That's what they say. And that's just the crazy thing about it.
Yeah,
These are some of the things that people believe love is. And some people have grown up and become adults
hmm,
that same mentality still. I think that's one of the saddest things that I've ever seen, and I see that a lot on social media. I think that's one of the saddest things that I've seen is a grown woman say that if a man doesn't have money, they can't be in a relationship. And you
right.
just got to really think about it, man. Money comes and goes.
It sure
Money
does.
comes and goes. So if you commit to someone because they have money and then the money leaves, then that means that the commitment is gone
Hmm.
because there's no
It's
real
a good
love.
one.
There's no
Yeah.
real love behind that. So that means
Mm-mm.
that the commitment is gone. That's why
Right.
you really have to people who love each other for real, they don't really focus on money like that. They really
Right.
because they got each other. You know what I
Right.
mean? If you got it, I'm good. If I
Right.
got it, you good. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If you don't have it, I got your back. That's
Right.
how love operates. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like you can't put money in the forefront of it.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? That's something behind. Let me see. Hold on one moment. Sammy just dropped something in our line here, and I'm waiting on some more people to jump in here and talk to us. Um, I know a lady that said her husband don't beat her. If he doesn't beat her, he doesn't love her. Wow.
Yeah, me too.
Wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow,
Oh
wow.
yeah.
Well, that's major. That's major.
Mm-hmm.
Major. And see, those are some of the things I mean, like that's mental illness, man. Like that's
Sure
that's
is. Yeah.
that's a real mental issue. Like anytime like you got you got some wiring, some things are like that need to be straightened out, literally, because if that's what a person believes that love is, then that is a broken person.
Mm-hmm.
That's a broken person. And the problem is most people will operate like they're normal every day. But
Right.
the true thing that's behind it, that's operating in their mind, is that they're really of no worth. If you believe that someone, in order for you to be loved, is to be beat. Remember what I said earlier, coming in, how it's crazy how people in oppression, they believe that they're loved while oppressed. It's
Mm-hmm.
that's a really sad thing, man. And so, you know, I remember when we were young. I mean, no, not when we were young. As we've gotten older, I've heard people say their parents whooped them or beat them because they loved them. And so some of those beatings and whoopings for some people were extreme. That
Mm-hmm.
ain't love.
Right.
That's anger.
Anger. Yeah.
That's not love. That's anger. Let's be real. So
Mm-hmm.
so you spanking is one thing. You know what I'm saying? Tapping the hand
Right.
is one thing. To literally beat a person out of anger, where you leave that person bruised and torn. You
Mm-hmm.
that's not love.
Mm-mm.
That's really not love. And so even if that parent thinks that what they're doing is right, love will make something different
Right.
happen. Like for me, I think about for me, like uh when it comes to my children, I have to discipline them from time to time. And if I do have to discipline them, man, I push the limits of not doing it. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I've given so many passes, like to where my wife would always say, "Oh, you soft, you soft. You're not gonna do anything. You're not gonna do anything to the kids. And they get away with everything." And I'm like, well, I a lot of times I have to reflect on my childhood,
Mm-hmm.
because for me in my childhood, it was like, my beatings when I got beatings by my dad, it wasn't nice. It was nothing beautiful about it at all. And so, you grow up thinking to yourself, oh, this, my dad loved me. That's why he whooped me. And I remember even saying that
Mm-hmm.
myself. But as I've gotten older and I really learned what love really is, I don't think the same way about that anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I really start to think about it because I can remember the times when my whoopings and beatings left my shirt stuck to my back
Oh
from
yeah.
blood, like, you know what I'm saying, from the
Me
blood
too.
grown
Yeah.
from whoopings. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if that was love, I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like now that I've gotten
Mm-hmm.
older, that's not love. And so that left me mentally for a long time in an ill place. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I was in mentally, I was in a
Mm-hmm.
very dark, ill place because I believed that that was love. So then that translates to, as you get older and you get in these little relationships, you put your hands on people. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden you do that because you think that
That's the
being
right thing.
child was
Right.
love. Your way of showing someone showed love to you that way. Now you think that this is love.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a toxic mentality that we've carried for so long. Is that they always say, men that beat on women, they're just they're just cowards or whatever. Okay, I get that when the people say that about men, right? But when you really evaluate a lot of these men, they really believe that's love.
Right.
See, that's the hard part for people to realize. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what happens when you become mentally ill. Things
Mm-hmm.
that are wrong begin to look like they're right.
Right. Condition.
So it's conditioned. You're conditioned to do a lot of this
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So now the nature. I even look at like our the African American community, for instance, the way that we've been taught how to respond
Right.
has been a physical way of response, aggression. We're taught this, and the way that we're taught it is through ignorance that we're taught it, but we grow
Mm-hmm.
up learning it. So then when we do it, all of this is a result of the things that we've been through in these communities for so long. And now we believe that this is correctly functioning. This is functioning the right way. No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not functioning right. This is
No.
dysfunctional, and
Right.
we don't really know, because a lot of times no one has had the moment to give you the counsel to talk to you about what you've been through. You see what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And so when it comes to relationships of every nature, you think love is one thing, but until you really learn what love is, you don't really get a chance to see where you made so many errors at in the past,
Right.
before. Like for me, I made a lot of errors before marriage. But since I've been in my marriage, I had learned a lot about relationships. I've learned a lot about love. I learned a lot about connections. That I've been married for 13 years. And over this 13 years, man, what you see as a product of now, the product now is the result of growth for 13 years. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Toughing it out, not leaving. No, nobody's leaving. No divorce. Divorce isn't an option. We need to work out whatever it is we need to work out. So all of the rough places, we need to work out and make them smooth as we go. These are the
Mm-hmm.
things that have to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like when you
Right.
love somebody, when you really love and you want to love,
Right.
want to know what love and experience it for real, it's long suffering. You go through the process.
Mm-hmm.
You change what needs to be changed. You fix the things that need to be fixed. And so over 13 years, I've become a better man because I've taken the time to learn.
Working the process.
Yeah, you work. You're working in the middle of that process, man. And so that's very
Mm-hmm.
important. Hold on one second. I got Hector said that he was beaten as a child as well. Absolutely. Understand. Yeah. And so here we go. Mason says one thing I think about love when it comes to marriage is if you truly love Jesus, I mean truly love Jesus, you get to love your husband. You got to love your husband. Well, I'm sorry, I misread that one. You got to love your yeah. Well, if you love, listen, here's the key. Um, and especially now, if we're going to talk about from our religious standpoint of our walk with Christ, we have to be very clear that it's impossible. And I believe the scripture actually says that. So we have to be very cautious because the scripture actually says this. The scripture says that you really cannot say that you love God but you don't love your neighbor, the person that you see that you're right there in front of. Let's think about this. Like that is a real thing. You can't possibly love God if you
Right.
can't love the that you've never seen, but you can't love the people that you see every day. That's impossible. And
Mm-hmm.
so if we say we're walking with God, that we are believers walking with God, but and we love God so much that we've never seen, it's impossible to say that if you're not showing the same attributes to the people around you. Whether that's relationships or not. If I'm in a marriage, and I can't show love to my spouse, It's impossible for me to be talking God talk to anybody and telling them how much I love God. It's impossible. But at the same time, let's just say this, man. I think that with relationships, man, you know, so many times people just don't know any better. They really don't. And this is where counseling comes in at.
Mm-hmm.
Counseling is so important. People just don't know any better. And like even before marriage, I used to see the worst counseling scenarios. Some of the worst counseling scenarios that I saw before marriage. People would have like three sessions with their pastor to do marriage counseling. Three sessions. The session might be an hour, and they go and they sit down. They go and they sit down with their pastor for about an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and they talk, and they're ready to get married after three times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, we go to school for everything else.
Mm-hmm.
We go to training, trade schools, and everything else. I truly believe when it comes to marriage, having gone through now 13 years in marriage, I really actually this is our 14th year uh coming up. So when I think about it, man, how do people really expect people to be ready for marriage with three counseling sessions?
Mm-mm.
You don't even know. You, man, it's so much more. It's so much more. And I think that's something. If it was possible for parents to really teach, if the parents are capable, if the parents even love each other, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
This
Right.
is a real journey. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you know that thing called love is something that most people bail out on
Mm-hmm.
because they don't know what it really does entail, what it really calls for. Um, who else I got? All right, so anybody else got it? Go ahead, Cameron. Did you have something you wanted to add, my brother?
Yeah, love is kind. Love is um well, all I could say, man, like I said a couple weeks ago, that if if two people should sit down and really before they get on a date, and always go on a date from the beginning and sit there and ask, get deep, don't hold back anything, ask questions, whatever comes to your head, just be truthful. And I think if, and even if you could, both of them could write things down before they make that next step, and take it home and just go over each note on. I mean, I'm saying that, but that really don't happen all the time.
Right,
You know what I mean? But those out there who are hearing me, it might be somebody right now that's hearing me that's in that position. If you're hearing me, do that. Try that. Now, those of you who are already in it for a while, if you really care about this person, and pour your heart out. Say, listen, man, this is not working. Let's see if we could do it this way, and see if we could extend our marriage or even our relationship that we have. Let's try to be kind to each other. Be mindful of the things that we say to each other and do. And if you're spiritually inclined with God, put Him first, before yourself. And
right,
that's what I have to say for that matter right now.
right. Yeah, yeah. I give a shout out to everybody that's online tonight. It's just this is one of those topics, man, that I tell you that really does mean a lot because I believe that you know we explore so much before in our youth. We explore so much, and we really get a lot of things. We really get a lot of things mixed up. We get a lot of things mixed up. And so I think the biggest thing that we mess up at is that we've been taught that love has something to do with two people engaging in sexual activity.
Right, right.
Like
Hmm.
so much so that people call it making what?
Love.
Making love. How do you
Yeah,
make love?
yeah.
You make bad decisions that you live with for the rest of your life in situations
Hmm.
like that. But you know, this is those areas, man, that that we really overlook, and it leaves us in bad places. And I think a lot of times we really do think about
Well,
it. Like love doesn't really change.
well,
It doesn't
well,
change. It, our
well,
thoughts, our thought process, and what we've done through life, we begin to learn whether or not we really love someone, or we learn that we do really love them, and we change a lot of things.
what about the phrase where they say love is blind?
It's you. Those are those that It's those
Uh,
type of things. You know what I'm saying?
right, right. That sticks up here, and you
Yeah.
carry that on in life, and you look for these different things, that's damage, man. You listen, not being educated from home, or if you grew up in a home that's not educated like that, you from the streets, you get it from the streets, you get it from the next door neighbor. Now if you're in a home that whereas you brought up in a middle class family or rich, whatever, everybody sees it different, and perceives it different. But it's hard when once you get into a marriage or a relationship that you really want. It's a lot of work, man. It's not easy, not an easy road. And like you said, you've been there for 13 years, you know.
Well, love causes you to compromise.
Yeah,
When you love somebody, it causes you to compromise. You do compromise, and you change. You
yeah,
know, you work on the thing that needs to be worked on. You know what I'm saying? And you hear each other. You hear
right,
each other's heart. You hear, it's like when you hear the things that hurts a person, things that disrespects a person, the things that makes a person feel a certain way that's not good. Love causes you to respond by working in the areas that's needed to be worked in.
and see that's a thing there. Like that now it's hitting me now. Like I thought about that before. Like certain things, like if you're in a relationship or you're married, and people who get into it and arguments and stuff like that, you know, is there a certain there's a certain level of maturity, first of all, and then like I said, something within your heart when you love somebody, like you said, you don't want to hurt them, so you kind of like, it's things that you kind of refrain from, you don't want to say, because in your mind, like, that's going to damage the relationship. And if a person, to me, who would go further and don't care about
Well, that proves a
what
lot.
they say,
It proves a lot. It
it
proves
proves a lot. That's the
um,
heart.
typically a person that does something like that, they have never truly experienced love,
Right.
and they don't cherish it.
Right.
Like when you cherish something, you do whatever it takes to keep it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And that's so for me, a person's actions, what comes out of their mouth, what they do, the things that those things to me prove my place in their life.
Mm-hmm.
That's what proves my place in their life. If you disrespect me, you don't treat me right, that proves that I have no value to you.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I have no value.
Right.
If I
Right.
have value, it's like, let's put it this way. If I give you a Rolex, right? Give you a Rolex, and I say, tell you what, here's a Rolex. You get the Rolex. It's a Rolex. Diamonds on it. It's a Rolex.
Mm-mm.
If you don't care about items, you might lay it lay it around somewhere,
Right. Right.
not put it in the case. You know what I'm saying? You drop it, you know what I mean? Give it to the children
Hmm.
to play with because it has no value to you. But if you
Yeah.
knew what it was,
Right.
then you will treat it different. It's like,
Differently.
okay,
Right.
I'm not gonna scratch this up. I'm not
Right.
gonna give it to my kids. I know my kids can't play
Oh
with
yeah.
it. Don't drop it. Put it,
Automatically. Yeah.
yeah, because it carries value. It's
You.
the same way with relationships. Like when you're dealing
Yeah.
with somebody, if you want to know how much you mean to them,
Yeah.
see how they handle you.
Right.
If they handle you as if though you have no value, they
Hmm.
don't care about the scratches and the damage they put on you,
Right.
the damage to your heart, the damage to
Yeah.
your mind, your mental, the
Right.
damage. If they don't care about the damages that they cause, you have no value.
You have no value. Right. To them. Yeah.
Yeah.
You, hey,
But
when you said
something, you keep it, you protect it.
I'm not Thomas Ware, but a song came to my mind when you said cherish. Remember Cool and the Gang? Cherish the love we had.
Yeah. Exactly. No, real talk though.
It was real stuff, man.
The words though. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You cherish it. If you don't cherish, man, look, man. And so how does love change through time? When you're younger, you do a lot of things that prove you don't know what love is.
Yep.
As you get older, you do everything to keep people in your life that you love because you realize
You don't want
that
to lose.
love is something worth having. It's
Remember when we was kids
having,
and
man.
we got a gift and we got a gift. It was everybody, all the kids got gift, but you saw that gift that you really wanted. You held on to it.
Right,
The party could be going on, but you're gonna leave with your gift. You know what I'm saying? You're
right,
gonna make sure it don't get scratched, nobody touch it, you know. And that's the way it should be with everything, man, automatically. So if they are not like that, it makes you wonder and think, do they really love me?
right.
Oh, what,
And that's a bad place to be in. It's a
yeah,
bad place to be in, man, for you to be in something and you thinking and you in your mind you're questioning, does this
right,
person really love me? That is a really sad place to be in. It's not good. It's not good
yeah,
at all. And we got a statement from Marilyn. She said that love is easy, yet we make it so complicated based on our hurt and traumas. And you're absolutely right. And that is like I believe there's a certain amount, you know, we jump into relationships because we want that person, right? But
mm-hmm,
let's be real. I think that there's a certain amount of self-care that should happen. And this is the older me talking. The younger me wouldn't be saying this. But
mm-mm,
the older me talking after having experience, I believe there's a certain amount of self-care that should happen and go on before you jump into a relationship. You should really evaluate, go to counseling if you need counseling, but evaluate yourself. See if there are certain toxic behaviors that you have, thoughts that you have that could possibly cause harm to the person that you're about to be with. Go search yourself out. I think that is like one of the best things you could possibly do before you even engage in a relationship. As a matter of fact, before when you think that you're at the place where you think you want somebody in your life, you should really go and get some counseling first. Talk to somebody
right,
and and figure out, make sure that you got everything in place mentally.
mm-hmm,
Because if
and
you don't, you're
yeah,
gonna damage somebody.
yeah. And for those that are in it and having issues, don't always put it on yourself, blame yourself, or it got to be me or whatever. Just kind of like revalidate each other by looking at what this person, write down the things that this person does that you don't like, or what they're saying, and then you write down the things, because sometimes we could say things and we miss what we're saying too, and could be putting the person down also. Even when we get mad, we fire back. We're not right. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're not right. Because you get so mad and get out of control, that don't make me right. So, and like you said, growing up, that person may have been damaged, and then here you go, who raised was raised up a different way, maybe more in a positive way, and then you fire back, and then it just makes that person go deeper and deeper and deeper. I don't know if that person, mom and dad was beating down the mom, or mom was beating the dad. And that person saw that. All these kind of things you gotta kind of talk about before you get into that relationship. They are dark secrets. They're dark places in people's life that they don't let you in, and you have to pray about it, man, because it can be tough. Those spirits, man, those spirits, and people that you also are around. Like people, like some men or women or whatever. You may look at what somebody else have, or you might listen. Even TV, like we were talking about the other day about these shows on Netflix and so forth, where you see certain things happening. Those spirits, you're sitting there in the living room, and those spirits are getting within you, and you start thinking, well, he ain't paying the bills, or he not doing this. You looking at all this flashy stuff that they wearing, and your mind go on, I want to be like that. And then you have some friends who are like that, and you start comparing your man or your woman to that situation. And then next thing you know, you're looking at anything to pick at that person to make them mad, because you feel like the bills ain't been paying right, or this not happening right. You understand what I'm saying? Or he not spending enough
Well,
time with me. you know
well, it really does boil down to maturity. It
yeah,
boils down to maturity. Mature people don't live by stereotypes.
right,
They don't live by what is happening socially. What's happening in the neighborhood, the neighbor, whoever. Mature people know that the two of us are a team,
right. There you go.
and we're going to work together, and we're going to live this life together. We're going to do this together. Our ups and downs are
Hmm.
going to be together. So when the money is low, we're together. When the money is plentiful, we're together. When you got a job, we're together. If you lose your job, we're together. That's
Period.
that's the reality of
Right,
maturity.
right.
There's no time to point fingers and talk bad about the next person. All you're trying to do is make sure that we are good.
Hmm.
That's what
Exactly.
maturity and love, that's how it shows itself. And
Right.
sadly enough, not a lot of people have the real gist of what love really is. And that's sad. And that's
Yeah,
that's really why we have such a high divorce rate. That's why we have so
yeah.
many tragic endings in relationships, because of that one reason. People don't know what love is. And for
Right.
some people, they'll start out wrong and they'll learn it as they go. That's a blessing. But some people refuse to change their mind or thoughts until it's too late. So I want to leave you guys on that note, and I just want to encourage you guys to look for the opportunity to be genuine in all that you do. When it comes to your relationships, look for the opportunity to be genuine, even with love, even with one another. Look for the opportunity to treat one another the right way. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in all of these different fake things that people call love. Love should be seen. It should be felt. There should be a real connection. And if
Hmm.
you're not connected to somebody, there's no way you can actually love them. I want to drop that on you guys before we get out of here tonight. Thanks so much for everybody who jumped in. Thanks for jumping in the conversation. Share this with somebody if you would, as you go on to as you go off tonight. Share it with somebody. A lot of people watching tonight. Not a lot of people talking, but a lot of people watching. But hopefully you guys were just kind of soaking it up and taking it in. But I appreciate you guys so much. It has been a good show tonight. It has been a good topic tonight. Hopefully you get walked away with something that can help you. Hopefully a relationship might be better, friendships might be better. But I'm just wanting to make sure that you know that love is an action word. It is something that's seen, should be felt the same way. So guys, be blessed. Have a great night. It has been a good time with you all once again, and I'll talk to you soon.